To ask everyone, what happens when you go into a room that you normally go to beg for money, to take funds and all that, and you walk into the room straight up and you put your hands in your wallet and you bring out 100 million CFA franc, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time in 54 years that Burkina Faso will be contributing to the African Development Bank, and this particular money was contributed by Burkina Faso through Captain Ibrahim Traore to the African Development Fund. And since 1972, this is the first time that Burkina Faso is contributing to this project. Now, Burkina Faso, since 1972, has had over 120 projects that have been funded by this African Development Fund. This is a fundraising program for the African Development Bank for countries that have been, deemed as some of the poorest in Africa. And Burkina Faso just donated 100 million CFA franc. I kind of know that the money is not too big, but Captain Ibrahim Traore is saying that Burkina Faso is no longer the nation that everybody used to know. Now, this is not close to the ADF-17 that took place. Yeah, I'm very, very tired. A lot is going on right now. Tomorrow is my wedding. A lot is going on. Like, I've really, really been so tired. And I don't even know if I will be able to do like a normal video this month. Like, all I've been doing so far is just live stream. It's been a very, very difficult month for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a report for you, and permit me to read. Um, I want to sit with you today and share this information because, what just happened today is something that history will remember. I believe that everyone has seen the information that Burkina Faso just contributed over 100 million CFA franc to the African Development Fund. This is now Burkina Faso standing tall among some African countries to say that Africa no longer need external funders. Majority of this fund used to come from the European Union, over 60%. That's the African Development Bank. Some from China, some from the United States, some from Russia. The external partners of Africa has always contributed to majorly to the development of Africa, and these are the type of reason why Africa is never been sovereign. So, ladies and gentlemen, Burkina Faso have just contributed to the African Development Fund for the first time ever, ever since 1972. They didn't contribute under Sankara. They didn't do nothing. Like, this is the first time ever. So you see all this agro-pastoral offensive initiative, this road project, this Burkina Faso developing this gold revenue and all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, Burkina Faso just proved that all of those things that you see on social media and you don't believe is very, very true, because you don't donate 100 million CFA franc if you are struggling. Do you get what I mean? If you need high IMF loan, like your life depends on it, you don't go about donating 100 million CFA franc. So Captain Ibrahim Traore is making a statement right here, loud and clear. All right. Now, I know that the number does not sound head shattering. All right. In a room where $11 billion was raised, on, on the soil of London, that was last year, where they called it ADF-17. And if you look at the picture in my thumbnail, you will see that it's all white people, and that was during the last ADF funding. $11 billion was funded. That's from foreign partners. You know what I mean? And this is why they are able to control Africa, and this is why they say that when Africa is affected, they are affected. It is because of this funding and all of that. So Burkina Faso going out there to contribute is Burkina Faso telling African Union, telling everybody in Africa that we are a sovereign state. We are not going to be taking aid from anyone. We are not part of that. Thank you so much, family. We are now part of the stakeholders when it comes to Africa. We are the doers. We are not the lenders. we are now going to be the one funding the project. And, you know, now this is a signal, and this is what we're here to discuss today. 54 years, since 1972, Burkina Faso was a beneficiary. Now, you see, at this point, I want us to put something into consideration. How can you be a beneficiary since 1972 and there is nothing to write them about your country? Because let's be honest, before Captain Traore came to Burkina Faso, what is it in Burkina Faso that you can point at and say, oh, this is a sophisticated, like there was nothing about Burkina Faso that was sophisticated. I say this unapologetically. In my country here, when before Captain Ibrahim Traore, when we say you look like somebody from Burkina Faso, a lot of people that have been on the Andric community, you've heard me say this many times. In Nigeria, when people point at you and they say you look like somebody from Burkina Faso, it's like they are trying to compare you to poverty. All right. That is what they're trying to do. And, Captain Ibrahim Traore came to power, and all of a sudden, Burkina Faso is now what so many bloggers are talking about in Nigeria. When we talk about our security architecture, so many people are using Burkina Faso as the green print that they think Nigeria should follow. Burkina Faso threw some cleric behind bars the other time. Nigerians are saying that why should Nigeria government continue to look at Shehu Gumi, who continues to back up the terrorists? And, so a lot of Nigerians now, they are now focusing on Burkina Faso. When Burkina Faso does something, everybody is now looking at it that, oh, they've just done this. Don't forget, this was a country before 2022 that, when we point at you and we say, oh, you look like a Burkinabe, we are telling you that you look like a very, like, number one, identity, we are telling you that you look dirty. That's what it means. You know what I mean? So getting to this point, that is serious transformation right there, that's serious transformation right there. Over 120 projects, ladies and gentlemen, more than $2.4 billion received, and all of that single Burkina Faso has never donated up until now. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what has been happening in Burkina Faso since September 2022. You already know the name of the person behind this monument, and that is Captain Ibrahim Traore, ladies and gentlemen. This man just continued to do great things. And today he had another live stream session. He had a media session with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, where they had conversation about mutual defense pact, bilateral cooperation in terms of economy and security. According to the information that we're receiving right now, Burkina Faso and Niger just acquired an air defense system. And I think today they just brought in the air defense radar. So they have not really integrated the air defense system with the radars. So that is the information we have right now. If you want to track the receipts of this information, Al Jazeera released information the other day. So Russian ship, right, docked in Morocco. Then from Morocco, they moved the circle down south and they docked at the Gulf of Guinea. And from Guinea, they moved all the shipment. Oh God. By design, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $100 donation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So Russia, um they dropped a lot of equipment in the Gulf of Guinea, and from the Gulf of Guinea, this equipment will be moved to Bamako because Mali is also acquiring the same air defense system. They call it something like the Karusa air defense system. So now, this air defense system, today as I'm speaking to you, they've just brought in the radar system. Now, according to the information we have, is for low altitude, intruders, like, let me say, drones and all of that. So according to the information we have, they need to incorporate the radar with the air defense capability so that it can work well. So the engineering units will be working with it and all of that. So it was part of this whole situation with Sergei Lavrov coming and talking about the defense situation. And the security architecture in the Sahel is changing very fast, and there is a clinical manifestation of everything we are seeing right now. So Burkina Faso is now part of the donors to the African Development Bank. So, in my own opinion, this is like Burkina Faso saying that we are no longer going to be part of the countries that will be taking arms. Congratulations on your marriage. I really, really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, family. It's been tiring. I've been running up and down today. I always avoid trouble all my life, but today has been very, very, it has been very devastating. So, what we have right now, according to the information that we received, the donors of this fund to the African Development Bank, they said that all this money have been paid. Some of this money have been paid to Burkina Faso to develop energy grids, to develop agricultural corridor, to develop water system, to develop roads. Ladies and gentlemen, since 1972. And they said Burkina Faso was a beneficiary of this fund. I repeat, since 1972. Is it possible that they have been taking? Now, the last money in ADF-17 in London, they donated $11 billion. $11 billion, family. If you convert that to African money, in my own country, it's trillions of naira, right? Thank you so much, family. Sikensi, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I remember the name. It's been a very, very long time. So, what I would say is that I did not see it in Burkina Faso. Let's be very, very honest with ourselves. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. I have not seen the roads in Burkina Faso. Oh God. By design, thank you so much. Thank you so much. $150. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So energy grids, Niger Republic had no electricity before now. Agricultural corridor, I think they're just beginning to develop that right now. And when you talk about water system, you can see that Burkina Faso is just under Captain Ibrahim Traore. They've just started developing the dams and all of that. And when it comes to energy, so the question is, this old thing of African Development Bank and all of that, they've been using the money to develop Africa. I don't believe that they've been using this money to develop Africa. What I think is that they've been doing these things to keep African leaders in the pocket, because they know that most African leaders are thieves. Let's put it that way. Most African leaders are thieves. Matter of fact, I entered a Uber with a driver today, a very elderly Nigerian man. I was shocked to my marrow, because for the second time in 10 years, I've just set my eyes on old Nigerian men that are honest. For the second time in 10 years, I was privileged to meet another Nigerian man. The first I met was an Uber driver. Today again, I met another Uber driver. These are men that are doing well. And the fact that, regardless of, and they're Yoruba men, the fact that they could say that Tinubu is a thief, honestly, I cannot deny the fact that these men are so honest. And when we were talking geopolitically, when I was hearing the things they were saying, I was just shocked. I used to think that the older generation of Nigeria, these people are like, I used to think they are so much of a problem that it will be so difficult for the younger generation to prevail if care is not taken. But for the first time, I just think these are like a very few a very, very few, which I'm just opportune to meet. You don't really meet Nigerians that are really honest. It's very, very rare for you to meet honest people in Nigeria. It's very, very rare. Out of 300 million people, I don't think they're up to 1 million of the 300 million. There are some groups that are religious fanatics. There are some groups that are terrorists. There are some groups that are bandits. There are some groups that are into Yahoo. There are some groups that are into like, so when you partition Nigeria, is a crime on its own. So I was opportune to meet these two men that actually, they were very, very honest. So the thing is, the Europeans that fund this whole African development, whatever they call it, they do these things because they know that African leaders are criminals. They know they are going to embezzle the money. In fact, I can tell you that whatever fund Tinubu has taken from whatever organization, that money is for him. It's not for the development of Nigeria. I saw the Russian foreign minister sitting with the governor of Niger State in Nigeria the other time. They were talking about the lithium in Niger State and all of that. Before this conversation, a lot of bandits have been clearing people and displacing them in Niger State and all of that. The truth is that the people of Niger will never, they cannot benefit from that lithium. I'm telling you the cold hard truth. I'm a Nigerian. I'm telling you the truth. The people of Niger State cannot benefit from the lithium. The people of Nigeria cannot benefit from the lithium. It is the political class that are so old, crooked, that are irresponsible and have no reputation that are going to benefit from this fund. So, but it is what it is. So we are very, very proud of, for me, I'm very, very proud of Burkina Faso. Now, who are the Western donors that fund this African Development Bank? You have France. Take note of that. You have the United States. You have the United Kingdom. And you have Japan. You see these 4 states that have just been mentioned. France, United States, United Kingdom. All right. You are very, very honest. You are very, very honest. France, United States, United Kingdom, and Japan. These are 4 countries that have a very, very diabolic history. These countries that fund the African. Now, when you look at the behavioral psychology of the men at the helm of affairs at the African Union and all of that, and you look at certain speech they give, you look at certain narrative they try to drive, and you wonder, why are these men behaving like this? Why are they talking like this? It is because of these funders. Japan, I stand to be corrected, has a very, very diabolic history when it comes to imperialism. There's something they call Imperial Japan. It's one of the most diabolic states in history. You talk about the United Kingdom, one of the biggest slave traders on the planet. It was one of the most brutal empire of all time. The United States, everybody, the proof is in the pudding. You saw what happened in Bandera Abbas, right? I'm not going to sit down and advocate for what is not. You are still seeing the blueprint of the US imperialism to this day. Look at France, ladies and gentlemen. I dropped the video on our Telegram channel. French citizens are now picking what to eat from trash can. You think we're joking? Go to our Telegram channel and see it. All right? French citizens are now going into the trash. The video is on our Telegram. If I post it on YouTube, they're going to flag it like maybe I'm attacking them or something. So I left it on our Telegram channel. These people, they don't even respect freedom of, speech or whatsoever. And you are aware they just banned RT. The European Union just banned RT, and they just banned Sputnik Africa because they don't want their citizens to hear the truth. And that is why some of my videos lately that had receipts from RT and Sputnik, it was kind of, the reach was kind of dropped because the second largest community on this platform is the United Kingdom. So Just take out all the European countries from my traffic, because most of what we give, they went to court, and I don't know what court was that they won the case. And so if you speak anything pro-Russian right now, you are gonna get it. So that is what you get for that is what you get for liberating Konstantinivka. All right, homeless Americans hungry. Exactly, exactly. So Burkina Faso, for so many years, when Burkina Faso was in the dark, when they were in true abject poverty, when poverty was morbid in Burkina Faso, they were busy taking this fund. All right. But today, thank you so much, Peter Hamilton. Thank you so much, family. But today, Burkina Faso is now a donor to the African Development Bank. Burkina Faso is no longer somebody that goes begging for money. You know, remember when Tinubu traveled to the United Kingdom? Remember when he was like, we are a poor country, and like, man, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely know. You see, when we talk about Captain Ibrahim Traore, the way we talk about him, we are not talking about this man um, because we are fan. No, we're talking about we are all knowledgeable people in our various spheres of life, right? Everybody watching me, you all are great, distinguished fellows in different fields of life. But you know, the fact that a young man somewhere can achieve this level of greatness in our lifetime, in a world that is so riddled with lies, deceit, that is so riddled with criminality, where something diabolic is now becoming the norm. So to have somebody like Captain Ibrahim Traore at the helm of affairs in a country like Burkina Faso is a breath of fresh air. I want to tell you something categorically, and I hope the Burkinabis can hear me. Before 2022, before Captain Ibrahim Traore took power, I don't think, apart from the Burkinabe and the people around Burkina Faso, I don't think anybody would have ever said, I want to visit a place called Burkina Faso. I repeat, before Captain Ibrahim Traore took power in 2022, and everybody saw the development as it was sprouting out, of the mud, I don't think anybody would have picked up their bags and for one day said, oh, I wanted to go and visit a place like, you know, maybe because of Sankara, maybe they wanted to go and look at, maybe people might want to go and, sorry, let me fix this stuff. Maybe people might want to go and check out Sankara, maybe where he's from, where he was buried, and all of that. But anything outside that, like, nobody cares about. Nobody really cares about Burkina Faso like that. Like, nobody really, nobody really cares about Burkina Faso. Nobody, not me. Like, now you can see me coming out. Yeah, you can see me coming and saying that, oh, I might try to travel to Burkina Faso, and I want to visit Burkina Faso, I want to see this, I want to see that. Like, nobody cares about this country before. You know what I mean? That was why I was mad when I saw the Salafists in Burkina Faso. They were running up and down the whole place, and they were trying to make a mockery of themselves, and they were doing too much, in my opinion. And I was like, bro, like, nobody really like you, or nobody. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. I say this with all confidence that nobody really had interest. But the fact that somebody so intelligent, that had so much leadership quality, somebody that everybody can work, and like, we know that this man is going to do the right thing, he's going to stand by right by us. This is the reason why everybody loves Burkina Faso right now. Not because I met one Burkinabe in the market and I just fell in love with him because he was a Burkinabe. No. Burkina Faso have always been called the land of upright men from the era of Thomas Sankara. We remember Thomas Sankara. But today, there is another leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore, and everybody is back loving Burkinabe people. Now he's carrying Oh, thank you so much, Peter Hamilton. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He's now carrying the full image of Burkina Faso. And everybody is calling Burkina Faso great. It is because of Captain Ibrahim Traore. Captain Ibrahim Traore has made me realize that if you have a good leader, everybody will start looking at you as if you are good, even though you are bad. If you have a good leader, everybody would think you are good, even if you are bad. All right. You've been planning to visit the AES. Do you know what it means that there is destabilization going on in the Sahel? It will be diabolic for anybody to say that um, there is no destabilization going on in the Sahel. Even if they are battling and they are prevailing, there is still, that bit of destabilization right there from the imperial forces of France and all of that. Please, I don't want us to call them JNIM again. A name came to my head today after they were defeated in Anafis. They were seriously defeated in Anafis. I said these are the Foreign Legion of France. I am not really going to call those people JNIM or FLA again. When I see them, I simply just call them the four. You see this old JNIM, FLA, MNLA. No, 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 no. Let's call it what? Let's call it spade is spade at this point. There is no point in saying, oh, the JN. No, just simply call it the Imperial 60-year Black American Nigeria descent. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, family. You know, um, I just simply call them the imperialist forces of France right now. There's no point in calling them JNIM or FLA or whatever they call them. So, Burkina Faso stepping out at this point in time to donate this money is Burkina Faso telling the world that, you know, we have really, really walked the walk. We've talked the talk, and everybody can see the manifestation of how great we are right now. And Burkina Faso is not just, a lot of people try to push propaganda. They said, how will Burkina Faso survive without foreign funding, without Western government giving aids to them, without pushing them and all of that. Oh, thank you so much, family. Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you so much, and thank you for supporting the new channel. Man, it's been exceptional. So what I do is I talk about kinetics here. Um, my partner talks about development on the other side. So we sit down and we break it down and we do everything. And you can see that, yeah, the other channel is doing great. So so I'm so entrenched in the military updates right now to the point where I just don't see myself, right? I just don't see myself talking about other things other than military. But let me read this comment. I'm a big fan of General Assimi Goita too because he was the first uh, and paved the way for Captain Ibrahim Traore and don't forget the White Strategic General Abdurrahman Chani. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. We have to agree the fact that General to me, I've always said it. I know a lot of people might not agree with me that General Assimi Goita to me was the mind behind everything. He was the mind behind everything. It was the mind. You see, somebody has to make that move before other people start saying, okay, maybe we can make the move. If he did not, it was never just going to happen suddenly in Burkina Faso. It happened in Mali. They saw the blueprints, they saw the pattern. Joyce Rees, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. So they saw the blueprint, they saw that, and Assimi Goita kind of did it in a way that it kind of sent a message without coup d'etat. Let's be honest with ourselves. French forces were there. Assimi Goita took power the first time. He gave it back to the civilian government. He saw that they were trying to dance around the money of the people. They were embezzling a lot of funds. He came back and he took the power the second time. So when a military lieutenant colonel at the time can subdue the command control of a country two times, He just told you all across the Sahel that, look, you can do it. Those people, everything they know is how to be criminals. And it took power. And ever since then, Mali has changed. Let me tell you something. Mali has changed. To be honest with you, I see some signs of the old Mali, but I can tell you Mali has changed today. The Mali of today is not like the Mali of, the previous time. The old Mali before General Assimi Goïta, let's say the Mali of 2019, the Mali of 2017, when they had MINUSMA, where they had, the French Special Forces, the British SAS, where they had the British Royal Air Force, where they had the United States forces coming from base 201 in Agadez and all of that. This was a criminal occupying force. They were so weak. I'm not even talking about the time they used to defend the country with a stick. I'm talking about when they had a rifle. And let's be honest with ourselves. I have to be brutal these days because I'm really, really tired of everything. And whenever I'm so tired like this, I see it as an opportunity to say all the truth. All right. Marcelos, 60 years old. Oh, nice to meet you, Mr. Marcelos. So let's be honest, right? um, Something used to happen that I used to see, and I will take this opportunity to talk about it. I know anybody following the military updates in Mali, you've seen situations where the Malian armed forces had all the equipment, right? They had the bulletproof, they had the guns, they had the ammo tank, they had all the capabilities. And you will hear that they have surrendered to the JNIM, whatsoever, the FLA, and all of that. Let me tell you something that I've noticed recently. And for anybody to come out and say, oh, that is propaganda, they've never surrendered, is false. I have seen videos of Burkinabe forces surrendering. All right. I have seen Malian forces surrendering. I have not seen Nigerian forces surrendering. I've seen them being neutralized. Like the video, it hurts me. Something has changed recently. Let me start from Mali. I think the situation in Burkina Faso is a situation where maybe they were seriously outnumbered, they were outgunned, they were, mortally injured, and, they were just captured. That fight is always in the Burkinabe, even the VDP. But you see, I saw something in this Anefis fight. And families, I won't deny, I won't lie to you. Mali has changed. If it has changed, let's say that it has changed. I said something on the second day of this recent attack. I said no Malian soldier has the right to fight and give your position. It's better you perish in that position. Number one, because of the military equipment that the country has given. A lot of people would make excuse that we are not given the right equipment. They have given the right equipment. The response time of the Air Force is phenomenal. They've bought all the capabilities in Mali. Mali has the largest drone fleet to combat the asymmetric mercenaries of the French Foreign Legion. But with all of this, I have seen situations where soldiers without fighting, we have seen deserters, right? Deserter is a different situation. Soldiers give up and they give them tips. They be like, oh, go back home. And I see people saying a lot of things. But this last situation, the Malians fought. let me give it to the Malians right now. Let me give it to them. I for me, I don't believe in people changing, but I'm seeing the Malian military doctrine. I'm seeing it changing. I am seeing the Malians change on the battlefield. Let me tell you something. All right. Yeah, Mali need VDP, and I'm going to talk about it. There is a difference between you are confronted, numerically, you outnumber your enemy, you overpower them. In terms of capability and marksmanship, you are better than them, and you capture them and you start doing everything. I don't think you are tough. True toughness comes when your metal is tested, when you're outnumbered, when you're outgunned, when you are injured, when you are starving, when you call on the quick rescue force. They got ambushed on their road, they had to turn back to Gao. There was a Malian unit that was coming from Gao to reinforce the Anefis rank. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, this battle of Anefis, right? It's supposed to be a whole stream I'm supposed to talk about, but let me just dance around it now. There was a convoy coming from Gao to reinforce Anefis. This battle was so tough. Anybody that is telling you that this battle that have just been fought, I think the FLA believed that they were dealing with the whole Malian forces. See, all of you have seen the military equipment. I know you have seen it is not about military equipment. You don't teach people how to fight. I think the FLA were so arrogant that they felt like we only need to sacrifice enough body, we only need to show enough guts, and they will break. And, I was posting the information as things were going on my Telegram, but I was like, God, what if they break? Because if you've never been there, you cannot speak for those that have been there. The Malian forces were getting shelled with mortars. They were surrounded. Then they started using the FPV drone, the fiber optic drone. It was gradual, it was systematic. They were using mortar shells. The Malians were firing back. The close combat operation, they were winning. The guys inside Anafis, they were having, like, I was hearing sound like ga, 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 ga. There is no point inside Anafis that the FLA French Foreign Legion, that F is for France, right? There is no time I see them post propaganda video that bells is not ringing in the background. And I'm not talking about the FLA shooting. I'm talking about both sides. It's like, grrr, I was like, what? You see, the joy in my heart is that it was a brutal exchange. See, it is very, very easy to retreat when all hope is gone. When you're trying to reinforce the Malian, because I was thinking, how are they feeling? Kidal is hot. The Kidal region is extremely hot. That is a desert right there. The French forces, when they were in Mali, a single person in 1 hour was drinking 2 bottles of water. According to the information we had, the FLA were trying to sabotage all the water towers. In extreme heat, the fighting was going on. And I was like, are these boys going to give up? Now, Segi Daniel, this propaganda journalist from, I think, Benin, he started coming with this information that some of the Malian forces are beginning to say they want to give up. He said some are deserting. I was like, man. you know. And if they desert at the time, I can't blame them at that point. I can't, because those boys be fighting for days. And the whole Anefis was surrounded. Let me tell you this doctrine. The FLA they've probed the Malian forces on the 25th of April. There was a pattern around the doctrine that conquered Kidal, the Kidal city. That was the same pattern. They brought the same game plan, but this time around, right, it was on a lower scale, on like Kanieroba, like in other cities that is not Anefis. They just made sure that they took the attention of the military so that they won't consolidate on Anefis. But they attacked Anefis. If you see the video, Anefis was surrounded from every side. And I was like, when you're surrounded like this and reinforcements were moving, the vehicles were ambushed and all of that, helicopter crashed. Helicopter did crash. And I was like, God, goodness. Like, I was like, what's going to happen here? And they were already celebrating that this will happen, that will happen. And the body count started piling up. And I was like, all right. The body count started increasing. I was like, oh, okay. And it got to yesterday. I started seeing some type of zombie apocalypse type of posture. People were posting like, this Michael Jackson, what do they call this name? Is it Thriller or something? Like you see some kind of pictures, like, and you wonder, like, what? Whatever you serve is not going to accept you this way. Whatever you serve, he's not going to accept you this way. I know people saw one particular image like that. That image was diabolic. And the body count started piling up. And the FLAs were saying one statement. They were saying that either victory or vanquish, that they would die. Like when you see the FPV coming, you can see them running and scattering, and their vehicles will get. So they were getting attacked in the night, they were getting attacked in the day, and all of that. So yesterday was the bloodiest contest. They went el mano. And at a certain point, the casualty became unbearable. The Malians defeated the FLA. Like, I have to be honest with you today. The FLA guys are they are battle hardened. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I will say it. These guys are battle hardened. But for the Malians to outfight them, I am shocked. I won't lie to you, I'm shocked. Like, it came to a point I broke inside. Somebody was telling us on our was trying to cook up some conspiracy theory on our Telegram. Like, I lost it. Don't cook no conspiracy theory here. Don't talk bad about the Malians. These are people's fathers. These are people's brothers. These are people's husbands. They are out on the battlefield defending both the good and the bad people, defending even the people that are cursing them while they are fighting for the freedom of the country. So don't you dare speak down on them. But for seconds right there, I was like, man, those boys have given their best. If they break at this point, I'm not going to blame them. Because when you look at all the conditions, but there was another factor, the Russian-African Corps. when it comes to being dangerous on the battlefield, I don't think there's any. I don't know. I'm waiting to see. I don't think there's any force on the planet that can match the Russians, like on the battlefield. When it comes to fighting, and you enjoy fighting. When you look at the casualty in Ukraine, it's outrageous. It's unbelievable. your mind will blow. And these guys continue to move forward. They are like that. So when you mix the Malian personnel, you mix them with the Russian African Corps, you know, and you cook these two together, it's going to give you a product that will shock you. All right? It's going to give you a product that will shock you. I think something is taking place in Mali that is going to change Mali forever. I think the current group of Malian soldiers, the young Malian soldiers that are coming up, the young Malian soldiers, I repeat, I think these ones are going to be the most sophisticated of them all. I saw some of them speaking Russian language very fluently. And I think when that Malian soldier spoke Russia, I know the French agents that saw that video will be scared. You don't understand how this feels. It's like, for a man, it's like the lady you dated for so long and you feel like she's never going to leave me in her life. And suddenly you hear her speaking some language that you don't even like. It touches you differently. You know, when people leave you, there is a feeling like, yeah, he has left, but yeah, he has not, you know, like you've left people, but you have not left each other. But when you start hearing some things, the reality will start dawning on you like, man, bro, wake up. It's like they've really left you for real. Like they fought their hearts out in Anafis. You see, I'm gonna say this. If the Malians can hear me here, every soldier that fought in Anafis should be promoted, and those guys should be given a badge of honor. The fight that happened in Anafis was the worst I have ever seen. You see, the battle for Kidal, where the Russians had a tactical withdrawal, or whatever they call it, is not as brutal as this current fight that just happened in Mali. This fight for Hanafis, I don't know why they really, and I think now I stand to be corrected. I think the Malians should take advantage of this moment. I think the enemies have launched their trump cards. I don't think Al Gabazic Mali, I don't think Inthala, I don't think all these guys, Iyad Agali, I don't think they have any more tricks up their sleeves. When you are playing defense, you might not defend with your best. But when you are attacking, it's a different game entirely. You should attack with, like, when you are attacking, you are leading with your heroes. And if Mali can break them like that in Anafis, I think this is the time where Mali should start probing Kida. Let's see. I don't want to believe. Now, let me tell you what happened last night towards this morning. The conquest was today. So last night, the Burkinabe vectors and the Nigerian vectors entered the Anafis airspace. Some of the French intelligence sources said it. They said the vectors from the neighboring Sahel states entered northern Mali. The airstrikes were devastating. It was in the night. It was a night operation. Probably you can see the drones during the day. You can't see them at night. They broke their spirit at night. See, this was not the way Mali defeated the FLA in Anafis. It wasn't about the body count. It was about the resistance they had. Those guys were not scared of going down. So get that those guys that I saw in Anafis, right? They were not scared of going down. They were ready to, like, it was as if they told them, don't come back. But you know, there is a doctrine in Russia that when you are putting pressure on your enemy, don't block don't surround your enemy completely, because you might have a very dangerous enemy. Give them a channel to run away. Put so much pressure. Make it a pressure cooker, but just open a little exhausts for the steam to, get out. The ones that can escape, they ran for their lives. They left their pickup trucks, they left their GPMGs, some guns broke. Like, a lot happened in Anafis. And those soldiers that survived, that won the war in Anafis, they are not normal soldiers. They are not ordinary soldiers. They are not normal soldiers. They are like some of the most experienced in Mali right now, because you don't hold your own under that type of pressure and prevail. And somebody will still treat you like you're just some ordinary. No, those guys are not ordinary. They fought side by side with the Russians. And I'm not going to permit some people that come around and tell us, oh, the Russians are this, the Russians are that. You have your problem with Russia, and you're already settling your problem with Russia, either through the battle line in Ukraine or whatsoever. Sort your issue. The relationship of Russia with Sahel, right? I know Russia has a bigger relationship with Africa. Russia has a relationship with Nigeria. They've just collaborated with Niger State in Nigeria. But I'm talking about the relationship of Russia with Sahel. Nothing can separate that relationship again. Just forget it. It's mutual, it's beneficial to both. Nothing can separate the Russians from the Malians, especially the Malians. Russia really, really gave a lot for Mali. It came to a point they were bringing weapons into Mali through shadow fleets. And I thought they were not prepared, up until I started seeing the number of drones. I'm talking about kamikaze drones. I'm talking about Monia drones. I'm talking about Zala drones. I'm talking about FPV, fiber optic, the type of capability they use in our interface. Ha. So, to be honest with you, don't play with Mali at this point in time, because history is being rewritten. You can see Macron traveling to Syria, where he even he almost got his scalp taken out of him. There was an explosion and all of that drama. But I think something is fishy about his journey to Syria. Because even if there was there was an explosion after his hotel. But after the explosion, look at the expression on Macron's face. Look at his countenance. That guy does not look like somebody that is worried. I think there's a plan. I don't know what the plan is, but when you start saying things like that, they're trying to get, let me tell you something, they're trying to get the global headline for a reason. They're trying to make a statement with the visit of Macron to Syria. If it has anything to do with FLA, I don't know. But when you look at the age demography on the battlefield in Mali, you know that, ladies and gentlemen, the FLA has been completely shattered. I don't know if Iyad Agali will now start stealing Algerian kids to come and fight his battle in Mali. That I don't know. But the number of FLA that has fallen in Mali, and the fact that the Russians are now taking this personal, it's going to be a very, very short journey that we are going to enjoy. And I would really, really love to inform you every step of the way. I think the alliance of Sahel State has changed forever. Sergei Lavrov was in Niger today, and they had a very, very beautiful conversation. And Sergei Lavrov was in the Sahel, and the Sahelian leaders, they had a Zoom conversation with Sergei Lavrov, and it was the foreign minister meeting with the foreign minister. In some countries, it will be the president meeting with Sergei Lavrov. Not like I'm trying to say anything, right? But I'm just trying to tell you, like, the orderliness in the Sahel is a whole different level entirely. And there's a reason why I support the AES. I support those people because the AES love everybody. The AES does not hate any African. Do you know that if wherever you are all over the world now, do you know that if your country gives you problem, do you know that the AES will stand up for you? Do you know that they will give you diplomatic permits? They will give you diplomatic pass? Do you know that these leaders are different? But well, it's a conversation for another day. So Burkina Faso have just gone from being a country that borrows money, a country that you can't compare the integrity of Burkina Faso to Nigeria again. Our president, anywhere he goes to, is trying to borrow money. Captain Ibrahim Traore is now contributing to the African Development Bank. That's the message. AEA sovereignty is not for rent. It's not a joke. Even if the money is not big, that is a statement. They are telling the world, you might contribute 100 billion. We are also contributing. That is to tell you what you can do, we can do. You only need to give us time. We will do better. That is the message. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all so very, very much. Families, I want to thank you all so very, 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 very much. Today is my wedding. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I'm going to be married today. We're a couple hours away from the ceremony, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how the events will be. And I don't know how everything is gonna go, but yeah, I'll go get some rest right now. I don't know. But I'm kind of nervous of the whole thing. Kind of very, very nervous, and it still feels somehow that for the rest of my life now. All right, families, I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank you all. By design, and let me search for the name. I want to say thank you to By Design. Thank you so so very much. And why am I always forgetting the name of the other person? There was another person that donated. I really, really want to say thank you so much. I'm gonna be looking out in the comments, and I will really, really be waiting to appreciate everybody. Indeed, because everyone that donated to live stream, I really, really want to thank you for a donation. Um, yeah. Good night. Maybe a day after my wedding, maybe 2 days, maybe a week. I don't know when I will be back to the normal Android. Yeah, I'll post photos definitely for you. I don't know when I will be back to the normal Android that delivers with so much brutality and ruthlessness, but I have not just recently. I have not just been myself. Don't forget the white sky. Yeah, yeah, I won't. I won't. Even for me to do this live stream this night, I battled for the topic was there, the tools were there. For so many hours, I was staring at the camera. I was just telling myself like I was just telling myself like I was confused. Like I don't know if to do live stream. I was thinking about a lot of things, but and I couldn't make video at all. Like making video like I used to do, it became so hard. Sleeping yesterday became so hard. Yeah, I would just be fine, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow, man. This is the first time I'm mentally detached from you guys, you know. I'm I'm not about to hate you or anything. This is the first time I'm a little bit mentally detached, and it's kind of somehow. But I really want to appreciate everyone, man. I gotta let everybody go now. Tomorrow. Good night.